Today, we're going to be going over how to profitably run static ads on Meta, specifically for B2B offers. Now, a lot of people, when they think of Meta ads, they think of e commerce and lower ticket offers. We're specifically talking about high ticket niches here. If you're running any sort of B2B type offer, then this video is going to relate to you. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to show you some examples of ads we've put together just so you can have a better idea of how to set these up in terms of the design and layout and headlines, and be able to do it for yourself as easily as possible. Now, the very first thing that we want to keep in mind before we set up any ads in the first place, before we make any creatives, is to really understand who we're actually speaking to here. The first thing you want to do in the process is put together your ICP and really start to understand your avatar and what they're going through. The core things that you need to understand about your avatar are: what are their pain points? What are their desires? What is your value proposition? How you can fix their problem? And why they should choose you over other companies in the same niche. Now, read this headline and tell me if you even understand what it's trying to say. This is what I call corporate jargon, and plenty of well-established companies are using messaging like this across their entire funnel. In reality, it's just way too overcomplicated. This could apply to 20 different industries, and it's very hard to wrap your head around what's actually being said here. You have to really dig deep to figure out what this is even doing for you, or what you can even get from a headline like this. You want to simplify your message and make it as clear as possible to the prospect how you can solve their problem in 1 second or less. If there's any sort of confusion in the ad, the chances that they actually click and book a call with you are going to be low. Now, if you're struggling to figure out what the main pain points are of your ICP, you can always go back to sales call recordings, or even just talk to your clients if you have them, and figure out what incentivizes them to buy your services in the first place. Real quick, if you run a B2B company or a high ticket service business and you need someone to run ads like the examples shown in this video, you can book a call down below in the description. I have a link to our calendar where we can go over your goals, what you're looking for, and see if this would be a good fit. Now, when it comes to actually designing the creatives in the ads themselves, you want to make the headlines extremely bold and try to cut down on as many words as possible, because, like I said earlier, if someone has to wrap their head or really work to figure out what the ad's being said, they're not even going to read it. They're just going to keep scrolling on. You're fighting for attention, and there's plenty of other companies advertising to them at the same time. We need to get the message across as clearly as possible. So here's an example of some ads I've set up for a property management client. Now, I'm going to walk you through why these are set up the way they are, and just to give you a better idea of the approach you can take when you're setting up ads yourself. So for this first ad, a lot of people who have Airbnb short-term rentals, they have a 4.5 or a 4.4 star rating. They might not even realize it's that bad. But the truth is, if your rating is below a 4.8, the chances that you're going to show up on the first few pages of search results on the platform are extremely low. So we need to call that out. If anyone has a 4.5 star or rating or lower, and they see this ad and they're aware of it, it's going to call them out. It's going to capture their attention and likely get them to click on the ads. I should also mention that the more creatives, the more angles, and the more visuals you can put into your ads across the campaign, the better your performance is going to be. With the recent Meta Andromeda update, it really requires a big amount of upfront creatives to really get the most out of your ad spend, because Meta is going to take a look at your entire campaign, all the creatives in there, and then decide which ones to allocate the majority of the spend into. So let's keep going through these. For the second ad, we want to touch on the angle that a lot of these companies, or a lot of these property owners, have rental managers that take 20% of their earnings, but they can't even get on the phone with them. It might take hours, if not days, to get them to respond. And obviously, this is a big issue, especially when you're paying that much of your income to a company. That's completely ridiculous. And we want to advertise that the company we're advertising for here is different, and you don't have to deal with that problem if you were to switch to this company. For the third angle, we want to call out the fact that the vacation rental market has never been as competitive as it has been now. And this is a pain point that we were hearing across the board, across a lot of the sales calls we were having. So we knew it was something that was worth calling out in the ad itself. And, we would just want to make it extremely clear that whoever's reading this ad, they need management that's actually suited for the modern market. Now, for this angle, we want to advertise the fact that this company that we're advertising for actually has a money back guarantee. This is something that not a lot of these management companies have, and it's a strong selling point. A lot of people are hesitant to switch to a new management company or even hire a new one in general, because they're afraid of getting locked into a long-term contract and losing money in the process. So we want to give them a risk reversal from the ad itself. And these two ads were one of the top performers in the campaign that we were running here. We just want to make it very straightforward what someone can get from the company by reading the ad. So For this final ad, this was one of the best performers, and the visual catches your attention and reflects what's being said in the headline. So when it comes to the visuals we're putting in the ads, we really just want to build off of what the headline says, put that into the visuals just to make the entire message more understandable off the bat. So this is also touching on the same angle that the vacation rental market has never been this competitive. The competition has hit an all-time high. A lot of people are aware of this. They are seeing it in real time with their property, and they know that it's a problem. They might not know what the solution is, and we want to just show them that, if you were to choose this company, you're going to be able to stay ahead of the competition and actually have the expertise you need to stay profitable in today's market. Just to recap, this is the same concept across every different industry. If you're in any sort of B2B company or a high ticket service business and you want to start running static ads, you want to just make it as clear as possible to who you're speaking to and get very granular on the headlines and the pain points. Because if you're using any of this vague language, like I highlighted earlier, like transform your business today with expert solutions, like no one's going to click on that. They see that all day long. They see ads all day long. You need to make them feel like you're reading their mind. And that's what's actually going to make them click on the ad in the first place and then book a call with you. That being said, I hope you get a lot of value out of this video and can start running some static ads for your company more profitably.